Hey everyone! So this isn't a first impressions video. I've been using the AULA F75 as part of my daily setup for quite a while now. Work, gaming, everything. And I think I finally have a solid opinion on whether it's actually worth it long term. Let's start with the overall value. Even after all this time, the F75 still sits in that sweet spot of around $50 to $60, and honestly, it's kind of hard to beat at that price. You're getting a feature set that a few years ago was only available on much more expensive boards. This is a 75% layout keyboard with 81 keys, so you keep your function row, arrow keys, and a compact footprint that doesn't take over your desk. And yes, it also comes with a multifunction knob, which I've ended up using way more than I expected. Now, typing experience is where this keyboard really surprised me over time. My unit came with Leobog Reaper linear switches, and for a budget board, they've held up really well. They come pre-lubed, and combined with the internal structure, like the silicone dampening and multi-layer foam, you get that soft, slightly thocky sound profile that people usually chase with mods. What's more impressive is that it still sounds and feels good after long-term use. No major degradation, no annoying rattles developing over time, which is something I've definitely seen happen with cheaper keyboards. The keyboard is also hot swappable, supporting both 3-pin and 5-pin switches, so if you ever want to experiment or upgrade later, you're not locked into the stock setup, which is a huge plus, especially for beginners. Build quality is solid for the price. It's a plastic body, sure, but it doesn't feel cheap. There is a bit of flex if you really try to bend it, but during actual typing, it feels stable and comfortable. Connectivity is another strong point here. You've got tri-mode support, Bluetooth 5.0, 2.4 GHz wireless with a dongle, and wired via USB-C. It can connect to multiple devices and switch between them pretty easily, which is great if you're bouncing between a PC, laptop, or even a tablet. In my use, the 2.4 GHz connection has been the most reliable, especially for gaming. Bluetooth works fine too, just with the usual slight latency you'd expect. Battery life is backed by a 4000 mAh battery, which is actually pretty big for a keyboard like this. Now, real-world usage will vary a lot depending on RGB. With lighting turned off or kept low, you can go several days to even over a week without charging. With RGB always on, expect to charge it more frequently. So yeah, solid, but not magic. Speaking of RGB, you do get full 16.8 million color support, multiple lighting effects, and even music reactive modes if you use the software. Personally, I don't use those much, but it's nice to have the option. You can also control brightness and effects directly from the knob or key combos, which is convenient. Now, let's talk about that knob. Over time, this has become one of my favorite features. In office mode, it controls volume and media playback, and in gaming mode, it adjusts lighting. It's simple, but it just feels like the keyboard is more complete. The keyboard also supports full key programmability and macros through its driver software, along with N-key rollover and a Windows key lock for gaming. All standard features, but good to see them included at this price. Now for the downsides, and some of these didn't get better with time. The first is the key layout, specifically the placement of certain keys like delete. It's not in the most traditional position, and even after extended use, it can still throw off your muscle memory occasionally. But the bigger issue is for Mac users. While the keyboard technically works with Mac OS, the key mapping, especially on the right side, is not ideal. There's no proper right-side command key behavior out of the box, and that can seriously affect your workflow if you rely heavily on shortcuts. Over time, this became more frustrating than I expected. So if you're primarily a Mac user, this is still something to be aware of. For Windows users, though, it's a much easier recommendation. Everything works as expected, and the value really shines through. So after using the AULA F75 for this long, here's the final take. It's not perfect. The layout quirks and Mac compatibility issues are still there, but the typing experience, feature set, and overall value have held up really well over time. If you're on Windows and looking for a budget wireless mechanical keyboard that feels good, sounds good, and gives you a lot of features for the price, this is still a very solid pick. If you're on Mac, I'd say think twice. That's it for this long-term review. Hope this helps you decide if it's still worth it today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.